This video is brought to you by Ridge Wallet, a slim front pocket wallet available in carbon fiber and titanium. With more than 250,000 sold, a lifetime guarantee and free shipping, get 10% off with the code GOLDFISH at ridgewallet.com. Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another Instant Deck Tech. So as you know, Monday means it's Modern Monday here in Instant Deck Tech land, and today we have a deck that is just overloaded with combos. We're calling this one Sly Sword Combo, and it starts off looking a little bit like Thopter Sword, but it's got a ton of other weird combos and synergies thrown in. It comes to us from Tenchi, who took it to a 5-0 finish in a competitive Modern League on Magic Online. So congrats to Tenchi on a really unique deck. A quick reminder before we break down Sly Sword for Modern. If you enjoyed this deck and you want to see it made into videos, take a minute, click the like button, the subscribe button, leave a comment, anything you can do to support your deck, because whichever deck is most popular gets a shot at being made into videos next week. So Sly Sword, like I said in the intro, starts off looking like Thopter Sword Combo. So if you haven't seen this before, Thopter Foundry, Sword of the Meek, work pretty well together. The idea is, if you get them both on the battlefield, or even Sword of the Meek can be in the graveyard, but mostly on the battlefield, you have a combo where you can use Thopter Foundry to sacrifice Sword of the Meek, which gains you life and makes a 1-1 Thopter with flying, and then Sword of the Meek is going to trigger from the graveyard, because it has this really weird ability where whenever a 1-1 comes into play, you can return Sword of the Meek from the graveyard and attach it to it, which basically gives us this combo where for every mana we have, we can pay 1, sacrifice a sword, get a 1-1, get back the sword, pay 1, sack a sword, gain a life, get a 1-1, get back the sword, again and again and again and again. So it doesn't go infinite in the sense that our opponent doesn't just die immediately, because we do need to pay 1 mana each time. But if we have 5 mana, 6 mana, we're making 5 or 6 Thopters a turn, gaining 5 or 6 life. Pretty difficult for most decks to beat us when we're doing that. So that's kind of the traditional Thopter Sword combo. But this deck, Sly Sword, goes way deeper than that and has some other combos built in as well. So to really understand the context of what we're doing, Word of Invention, really important. It gets our Thopter Foundry, it gets our Sword of the Meek, and it also gets a lot of the other combo pieces that we're about to talk about. So combo number 2 in this deck is kind of strange because it revolves around Sly Requisitioner, which is a card that I have never seen in play in Modern before. But Sly Requisitioner, technically a 5 mana 2/2, but it does have Improvise. So in our deck with a bunch of artifacts, hopefully coming down for like 1 mana even, and then it has an ability where whenever a non-token artifact goes into our graveyard from the battlefield, we get a 1/1 servo artifact creature token. So the idea with Sly Requisitioner is to go infinite in a very different way. We're looking to infinitely mill our opponent with Grinding Station. So Grinding Station, 2 mana, you sack an artifact, you mill 3 cards. Whenever an artifact comes into play, you get to untap Grinding Station. So if we can set up Sly Requisitioner, maybe for 1 mana with Improvise, Grinding Station in Sword of the Meek, we just infinitely mill our opponent out of the game. It's similar to Thopter Sword, but instead of gaining a bunch of life and making some Thopters, what we're doing here is sacking the sword, which is going to trigger our Sly Requisitioner to make a servo token, which is going to get back the sword, which is going to untap the Grinding Station so we can tap it again to sacrifice the sword, mill 3 more of our opponent's cards, make the servo, get back the sword, again and again and again, until our opponent just runs out of cards in their library and loses when they draw their next card. So yes, if our opponent has an Emrakul or something, the plan isn't going to work, but that's fine because we still have the Thopter Sword combo as well. So this is just another combo that's in our deck. Speaking of infinite mill, we have yet another way to mill our opponent out. So we have Scrap Trawler. Probably know this one from the Ironworks combo deck. It can be just a really good value engine, but in conjunction with Memnite or Ornithopter, which are basically the same card in our deck, just 0 mana artifact creatures, it gives us another infinite mill loop. So this was a little bit more convoluted, but it's still pretty sweet. So if we can get down Grinding Station, Sword of the Meek, Memnite, or Ornithopter, doesn't matter, along with Scrap Trawler, we have another way to infinitely mill our opponent out. So Grinding Station, sacrifice the Sword of the Meek. Sword of the Meek, when it dies, is is going to trigger our Scrap Trawler, which lets us get a Memnite back from the graveyard. We get back the Memnite. When we play the Memnite, it's going to trigger the Sword of the Meek to come back from the graveyard. Then we're able to sacrifice the Memnite, whatever, mill our opponent, sacrifice the Sword of the Meek, whatever, go through that loop again and again and again and again. So this time we're basically sacking swords and Memnites to get them back with Scrap Trawlers and milling our opponent out with Grinding Station along the way. So multiple ways to infinitely mill our opponent. Plus, remember, we still have the normal Thopter Sword combo on top of that to gain life, make a bunch of blockers. Otherwise, we got some value stuff. Chromatic Star just generates a ton of card advantage if we happen to be looping with a Scrap Trawler. We can just keep getting it back as things are dying, draw more cards, find more combo pieces. Claw of Gix gives us a backup sacrifice outlet if we just really need to sacrifice things to trigger our Scrap Trawler or whatever. Mox Opal Springleaf Drum just speeds up the deck significantly. We play them on turn 1, hopefully, and then we're going to have some extra mana. So instead of waiting to play our Scrap Trawlers in our Sly Requisitioners and our Thopter Swords, in theory with the right hand, we can get all of our pieces down by like turn 3 maybe and just kill our opponent really fast before they know what's happening. Otherwise, in the mana base, Darksteel Citadel just gives us another artifact for artifact synergies. If we really got to mill the last 3 cards, we can just sacrifice our Citadel. Plus, we can always get it back with our Scrap Trawler stuff's dying. Moorland Haunt just to make some spirits. Another backup way to trigger our sword from the graveyard. We can exile a Scrap Trawler or something that died, get the 1/1, get back the sword, hopefully start the loop. Some mana fixing, some shock lands, some basic lands. In the sideboard, we're mostly focused on being able to beat Stony Silence, which pretty much every white deck is going to be playing. So Antiquities War, Gerper, Ether Grid give us 2 different ways to kill our opponent, even if they lock down our Grinding Station infinite mill loops and our Thopter Sword loop. So Antiquities War just finds us artifacts, makes all of our artifacts into 5/5, opponent gonna die to combat damage. Gerper, Ether Grid, a little bit weird, but let's say our opponent got out an Ensnaring Bridge, so we couldn't attack with all of the tokens we're making. We could just make a bunch of Thopters and ping our opponent to death. Works also through Stony Silence. We just tap all our artifacts, ping, 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 kill our opponent over the course of a few turns. Welding Jar, Thoughtseize, protect our combo pieces. Welding Jar from the battlefield, Thoughtseize preemptively from our opponent's hand. And then we have some combo stuff. Damping Sphere for Tron and Storm and KCI, Grafdigger's Cage for reanimation type decks, Battle to Bridge for some removal and life gain, Wear Tear for artifacts and enchantments. And that is the insanity of Sly Sword for Modern. And that's been our instant deck tech for today. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.